from the U.S. Women's National Team and OL Reign of the National Women's Soccer League, Sofia Huerta. Sofia, thanks so much for making the time to be with us here on Futbol Americas. You were just in St. Louis. Are you back on the West Coast already?
Yeah, just got back to Seattle last night and have a game on Saturday. So it's a quick turnaround, but definitely happy to be home.
All right, so we're going to talk NWSL in a little bit here, but let's talk national team because you just got back. The games against Ireland seemed like really, really tough. As I mentioned off the top of the show, 99 days till the World Cup starts. What's the vibe? What's the feeling around the team as you come away from that international break?
Yeah, I think both those games were such good tests for us. I mean, Vlatko kept saying that Ireland is a team that we're going to see in the World Cup. Not necessarily them, but just teams who are going to play a low block. They're going to pack it in. They're going to have five in the back. What are some, things that we can do to break them down and score goals? I wouldn't say that the two games were the prettiest we've ever played. We would like to beat Ireland probably by 3 to 4 goals. I think that's ideal. But we got the win. And as you guys mentioned, we won 8 games in a row. And so obviously that just gains confidence for us going into the World Cup.
Sofia, obviously losing a player like Mallory Swansons is a massive blow. You get to see her every day on the practice field and actually maybe go up 1v1 with her. What kind of player is the U.S. Women's National Team losing here?
Yeah, it's hard to even talk about, to be honest. She's such a good player. Not just good player, such a great person as well. But, as Vlatko said, we were going to build around her. She's so dangerous. She can turn a game around in a second. She's not only good at connecting with her teammates, but just taking the ball from halfway and scoring herself. So it's a huge loss for us. Obviously prayers go to Mal. We are thinking about her every day. And honestly, we're just going to play for her moving forward. But it's a big loss for the team for sure.
That was kind of the big story coming out of this window. Heading into the window, it was Julie Ertz is coming back. Tell us what this player brings to the team, because she's been missing for a while, and it seems like everybody's really glad to have her back.
Yeah, I've known Julie since I was like 12 years old. We did regional team, youth national team together. We also played college together and club. So I've been, around this amazing player for a long time. And I think, we celebrated her 100th cap. So we had a few speeches, in the pregame meeting about what she brings to this team. And, she's just a winner. She's a competitor. Every time she steps on the field, you know what you're going to get. She's going to do her job and she's going to do it well. So I think that obviously helps the players around her to do their jobs as well. So yeah, people are happy to have her back. Anything to help us win a World Cup is really just ideal, of course.
Piggybacking off of what Sebi just said, I'm curious because everybody was worried about her fitness. It was almost 600 days without any competitive games and no club situation. You've seen her now in training sessions. How is she sharp? Is she fit? What have you seen?
Yeah, I mean, it's Julie Ertz. She wouldn't have come back if she didn't feel good or she didn't feel like she could compete. I don't know exactly the details of what she was doing the last couple of years, but I know that she was training. She was, making sure she was going to be prepared coming to this camp. And like I said, if she didn't feel sharp, she wouldn't have come.
All right. OL Reign. We got to talk OL Reign. We do preseason predictions. Sebi predicted the OL Reign would actually make it to the final. He doesn't have you guys winning it, unfortunately.
Don't throw me under the bus.
Well, I'm going to as well be honest with Sofia. I have Portland winning it. You guys have had success over the years, but you haven't lifted that trophy. What are the expectations this season?
Yeah, I mean, good point. The OL has always definitely been historically such a good team. All, have won 3 shields, have made it to the final and lost, but have never actually, that's me. Never really, we haven't won the final. And so I think the expectations for us this year is to win. I mean, we can't make it to the semifinal again and not win this year. We have such a good team. I mean, really everything has come together this year, just adding more puzzle pieces to the team. And we look sharp, honestly. I feel like coming out, we lost our first game, which is never ideal, but we always have a hard time versus Washington. I have no idea why. But we all feel really good, and I think we're super positive about the season and think that we can win it all for sure.
You got your home opener coming up, right, against San Diego Wave. Tell us a little bit about that matchup and then just kind of what it means to play at Lumen Field, because that's a big time.
Yeah, being at Lumen Field is amazing. Unfortunately, it is turf still, so that's not great. But, we get a big crowd, and we love playing in Seattle. Seattle's such a soccer, city, and we love it so much. And San Diego, they're a good team. They have some really good players. I'm sure you guys know Alex Morgan's on the team. And they started off hot. They've scored like 3 goals in both their matches at the beginning of the season. So, as a defender, the goal is for them not to score at all. But, they're a fun team to play. And I can't wait to play them on Saturday.
Well, the funny thing about this NWSL season or these weeks coming through, Seb mentioned 99 days. Do you feel like this is almost an audition for a World Cup spot? Do you feel like you're playing for a World Cup spot in NWSL?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as Vlatko said in the interview, there are a handful of players who are probably feeling pretty comfortable about their spot and just need to maintain healthy. And then there's a handful of players who are fighting to make that World Cup roster. And, he has made that, I feel like, pretty clear to the players, I'm sure. So I do think that it's important for these next 2 months to showcase what, you can bring. Personally, I feel like I want to show that I deserve to be on the 23 roster and, show what I can do defensively and on the offense. So, yeah, it definitely feels like it is a little bit of an audition, but at the same time, you got to back yourself and you just have to stay present and not, worry too much about the future, because I think that can definitely impact how you're playing and performing. So it's really just taking it day by day. This is a sport we've been playing for a long time. So I think a lot of players are just staying present and trying to focus on what they can do for their club team.
Okay, Sofia, we bring people on the show. We like to, do our research, right? And sometimes a good way to do that is via your social media. Well, Herc doesn't do much research, I'll be honest. So we have been checking out your Instagram for a segment here called Insta VAR, and see what these pictures, these images bring to mind. We're actually going to start early days of your career, as we check in on the past in Insta VAR. This is you in Australia, so tell us about your time down under, and then you're going to get to go back there now for the World Cup, yeah?
I mean, we can only hope, but yeah, that was my first year in Australia. I played for Adelaide. It was a really good experience. They were kind of bottom of the table, so that wasn't too fun. But then the next years I went and played for Sydney, and we actually won the grand final. So, but that was such a fun year. Adelaide is an amazing city, and I loved playing down under. I mean, Australia is an awesome place to be, and I hope I make it back there in the summer.
Every footballer has this kind of full circle moment in their career. You're still very young. Would this be a full circle moment for you?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I have a unique journey where I was with the national team for a couple of years, stopped being called in for a couple of years. That's obviously really difficult. Never was quite sure if I was going to get the opportunity to play on the team again. And so obviously I've had my second chance. I'm very thankful for that. And it would definitely be a full circle moment to play in the World Cup back in Australia, where I feel like I really did find my confidence as a player. And was able to come back in the NWSL and showcase what I could do, which was initially why I got called in back in 2017. So it definitely would be a full circle moment for me, and I'm really, really hoping I make the squad.
You mentioned your time away from the national team. What about your start with the U.S. women's national team? That's next here on InstaVAR. Do you remember your debut, and specifically an assist you got in your debut? Am I correct there?
Oh, you are correct. Yes, I remember this day like it was yesterday. I was had to do the one-time switch from Mexico to U.S., and I had been training with the U.S. team for a couple months, but my papers hadn't been approved. So the day before this game, I got a call from Jill, although I was in camp, but we weren't near each other, and she wanted to just let me know that my papers were approved and I was going to get minutes. So this is it. This little baby soap.
I feel like I see
back
you do that
in
all the time.
2017. Yeah. Yes, that is my signature for sure.
Beautiful ball out there on the right flank. I mean, first time you were sending a message, right, that you were going to be able to keep doing that. All right, so we've got the debut with the U.S. women's national team, but you actually mentioned it, and it's perfect for this show. Herc's Mexican-American, I'm Mexican-American. You started your international career with Mexico, so this is way back in the day. Tell us about your time with the Mexican national team. I think both at the youth level and then senior level, and kind of that transition from Mexico to U.S.
Yeah, I mean, playing for Mexico was such an amazing experience. I went to the U20 World Cup in Japan. We had a lot of success. We were the first Mexican team to make it out of the bracket at a World Cup. So that was obviously a great experience. And then I played a couple games with the full team, but ultimately just knew my biggest dream was to play for the U.S. So after 2013, I respectfully declined any invitation I got from Mexico moving forward, because I just knew that I wanted to play for the U.S. So US wasn't really knocking on my door yet, so that was kind of a scary decision to make at the time. But obviously, patience was key because a few years later, I finally got my first call-up.
This doesn't have anything to do with the U.S. women's national team or the Mexican national team, but it's got to be a thrill for you at least to kind of see how much the game's growing out there with Liga MX Femenil and how massive it's gotten.
Oh, yeah, I'm so happy to see that. I feel like when I was playing for Mexico, that was something that I noticed. It just wasn't, women's football wasn't celebrated as much. But now I'm seeing games all the time. I'm flipping through the channel on my TV and a game's on. I'm watching it. There's a huge crowd. The energy is really, great to see. I'm just so happy that the game's grown so much over there, and it's amazing to see.
Who do we got in the background there?
Sorry, that's my dog.
All right, there she is, Sofia Huerta of OL Reign and the U.S. women's national team. Great to have you with us here on Futbol Americas. Thanks so much for the time, and good luck this weekend against San Diego.
Thank you guys so much, but no thanks to saying we're not going to win the final.
There you go, Seb.
Well,
Take that,
what
Seb.
are you doing?
Take that, Seb.
Very disappointed.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.